Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Back out here again on these highways and hedges in Louisville, Texas. Meeting up with the brother through the power of spirit, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. It's your brother Kalab, also go by Hope, Grace, and Mercy.
Brother Lab Medino, also known as Heart of David.
All right. And before we go any further, we're going to face the east. Give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh,
Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakudash. That belongs to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Rule well, teach his truth in its entirety. Also to all the other elders that's been pushing this same doctrine in true faith and sincerity. Another opportunity to give diligence to make our call and election sure. And before we get started with today's lesson, we're going to bring out a couple of articles like we always do at this time with the things that's going on throughout the four corners of the earth. You got something you want to jump off?
Man, let's start off with the wars. You know, Pakistan and India, they about to go to war. I think you might know a few more details than I do.
Yeah, they sounding the trumpets, man. They blowing them war drums for real.
Africa.
Oh yeah, Africa. Also, one of the countries in Africa. If I'm not mistaken, that brother, I can't pronounce his name, the one that kicked the French out of his country.
Is that the one that killed the board? Is that the same guy?
Killed what?
They say killed the board.
I ain't hear about that boy. Like with his hands.
No, he was chanting like kill the board, but they was talking about Esau. They was crump dancing and stuff.
Moving to the parking lot.
What he say? Get off the road, move to a parking lot.
Yeah. Damn, they probably in some mess. I don't know if you're talking about that red car.
I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, you was saying
we might have to move in a second. It might be Esau telling us to get off this location. I don't know if he was talking.
No, I think it's talking about them.
Oh, that car next to him. Get off the road, move to a parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Salakia for that. But yeah, that country in Africa, that president in Africa, he sent 100,000 of his troops. 100,000 of his troops and military equipment to Pakistan, in Pakistan and Indian war. What do you mean by that? You know he's gonna give out. That's a Jake too. He's gonna pull him over down the line.
You know, big explosion and that one in Iran.
Oh yeah, let me get it. It says, this is coming from the End Time headline, but it's been updated since. It says massive explosion in Iranian port linked to missile fuel shipment kills 4, injuring over 500. And since then, it's been an update. It says, explosion. It wasn't dead. That was injured. Explosion in Iranian port injured. It went from 500 to 750 injured, and 8 reported dead so far. That's a lot of bodies, man. Injured. You know, and who knows how much it's gonna go up from there. And me just speaking as a man, I just feel like Esau got his hands on it in some shape, form, or fashion.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, right when they got their nuclear capability, you know, and Esau saying that they must not be able to get them because they know that them boys ain't playing. You know, let the weak say I'm strong. The next article says growing number of Americans are financing groceries with buy now, pay later loans. Groceries. And groceries last, what, a month? Depending on your household, fewer days than that.
I was watching a video, a bunch of people talking about how much they spend on groceries compared to back then. I hear people say they spending up to $250 to $3 1 week of groceries. And in a month, you know, $1,000 to $1,500 per month.
I remember last year, I went to the grocery store, and I went to Sam's, and I usually get way more. I spent $100, man, and I had 2 bags.
Yeah.
2 bags, man, $100.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a trend of women living outside, living in their vehicles.
Oh yeah, yep.
Living in their vans, they trucks.
With kids.
Yup.
Yep.
And you know, we've seen a lot more people do that.
You remember the sister, I think it was in Detroit, who got denied housing in the shelter, and her kids froze?
Yeah.
You know, a week later, she was going live at a club, twerking.
Nah, that's crazy.
On live, twerking. A week later.
Crazy.
A week or two later, man. The next one says, Putin has just ignored Trump's demand to stop war in Ukraine by launching lethal kamikaze drones. Man, ain't nobody care about what you got to say, man.
Yeah.
Ain't that beautiful? He, instead of acknowledging him, he laid it on even thicker.
Oh yeah. Scripture say when they should cease to deal treacherously, that they're going to be dealt with treacherously.
Right. That's that cruel king. The next one says, China imports have come to a halt, which could result in the empty. China imports have come to a halt, which could result in empty store shelves by summer. I think sooner than that. You know.
They say even as soon as the 27th, that the hospitals could start to close. They say like 50% of medical equipment comes from China, but 91% of the medication.
Yes.
I mean, you've been saying that for months.
Yep. So not only the medicine, but the incubators, stuff like
syringes, pacemakers,
the little batteries that keep it going,
the little scooters that Walmart be having.
Right. You know, dialysis. I honestly know somebody who survived like 6 months to a year after they stopped doing dialysis. But that's only because she had lost her sons and she just got tired of taking medicines and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, just think about, we just talking. That's just one person, but just think about a whole country.
Oh yeah.
All the people, all your citizens who can't get their dialysis.
All the surgeries.
Oh yeah.
Surgical equipment.
Say for instance, your appendix.
That's a big thing over here too.
Yeah, your appendix burst or something. You know, that bowel being in your intestines like that. That'll kill you. You know, I had a friend. She passed away too, but her son, he got to get some certain kind of treatment because the bowel comes out of his mouth. I said, dang.
Yeah, think about, you know, natural disasters, another pandemic.
Yep. They say when the shortages start, we're going to go from 2025 to 2020 all over again in a matter of weeks.
Yeah.
So say, I saw another video that says that, say for instance, because you know, China sent 200 empty shipping docks back, shipping containers that they would put the stuff in.
You said how many?
200.
Dang.
200 of them empty. They could have just kept the empty ones and not sent them, but they say that they think they was mocking Babylon.
Hey, when they should cease to be treacherous, they'd be dealt with treacherously.
Yeah.
Hey, people playing with America now.
So they sent 200 shipping containers, and you know it take weeks for them things to get here.
Yeah.
They sent 200 empty shipping containers, man.
That's funny.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, so like a lot of healthcare workers, they possibly lose their job because you know a lot of women be nurses and they be proud too. Hey, everything is getting touched.
Everything. It ain't so chill here now. And it's gonna get worse, and we know it's gonna get worse and worse and worse. But hey, power of the spirit, y'all by Shimmy Awashai, we loving this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, boom. He said boom.
Oh yeah.
All right, next it says, Israel fears U.S. moving fast towards a bad deal that won't end Iran's path to nuclear bomb. They can't stop that. You know, like, hey man, this the Lord's moving. This ain't Babylon's moving that needs a sign, agreement with somebody else, man. Like, the audacity of these devils to just think that, oh, it's gonna go this way because this is the way that we feel that will work out better for us. No, man, no. It ain't gonna end good for you, Esau.
Like they say, Iran, they say cannot possess nuclear missiles and
Right.
will not. Or they got them because of you.
Right. They need some protection because of you.
Yeah.
They tired of getting bullied. They've been doing push-ups all these years, man. They ready to fight the bully back. The next one says, home sales have dropped to their lowest. Home sales have dropped to their lowest March pace since 2009. That was right before the housing crash that took place.
Oh yeah.
And I was working at J.P. Morgan Chase back then, you know, and that thing was ugly. They was trying to refinance people homes, dropping their payments down to like $800-900. These people still couldn't pay that.
Dang.
They like, no, man, I still can't do that. Or they was scared to do it. You know? Either that or you lose your crib.
I heard now people saying that their mortgage is going up from $500 to $1,000.
Yep.
I'm like, damn.
Yep. Let's see. That's all.
I'm gonna get some of these shortages. Hey, it's a recall on pork. Over 63,000 pounds of oats are being recalled. Americans love them some oats. Coffee creamer recalled as FDA sets highest risk level. Shoppers warn after grocery chain issues urgent recall on widely sold meat products. FDA announces recall of apple juice in 28 states due to mold contamination. Some plagues of Egypt. Oh, that's crazy.
I seen that video last
That's
night.
crazy. And they really spot on.
Yeah, they are. This happened last night. It says driver plows into crowd at popular street festival in Vancouver, leaving several dead and multiple injuries. That's crazy, man. Yeah, them shortages. That's another boogeyman that's slowly creeping up.
Because all them recalls, they got to put them off the shelf.
So what they doing is taking the good stuff, putting it in the bunkers.
Right. And then, you know, they're not going to replenish it.
Right.
Because China, now they telling other countries, hey, stop sending your products to America.
Yep.
You know, deal with us.
Get your Bruce Lee juice from us.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, man, we all ready for the lesson.
Yeah, ready.
We're going to get into it with the lesson now. So, I think I'm going to title it, Disobedient, They Were Appointed. And that's coming from out the book of Peter. But, you know, we're going to get into it because we see the disobedience of our people on display. You know, every week, really every other day, there's another scoffer getting on the internet scoffing at the truth.
Yep.
You know, speaking out against, you know, the Hebrew Israelites.
And before we get started, shalom to everybody on the comment board. Brother Enos, the brother Yawanathan, the sister, daughter of Yahweh. Shalom, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah. Shalom to everybody.
And then usually what we've been going to lately is different stuff in the Bible. You know, we put emphasis that it's a mindset behind it. Like when people hear evil, they think it's the act of doing evil. But no, there's a mindset that goes with that. And not just you making a decision to do evil, but again, it's a whole mindset. So disobedient or disobedience, you know, when American Christians hear that, they say, oh, you was out at 2:30 last night at the bar, you still being disobedient.
Right.
Oh, you didn't make it to church this morning, you being disobedient.
Right.
Oh, you still cussing, you being disobedient. And disobedience is not limited to an action.
You didn't call and tell your dad Happy Father's Day?
Yeah.
You know, you're being disobedient.
Yeah. You know, you didn't put your money in church, that's disobedient. But again, disobedience ain't limited to the acts of doing something undesirable. You know, disobedience in the context of the scriptures is really a mindset as well.
Right.
And we're going to get into that.
And you know, the devil make it seem like whenever you're not following what he wants you to do, it's automatically disobedient.
Yeah, pretty much. If you don't live up to the standards of this world,
right,
in the physical sense, you're being disobedient. Or like your shirt not tucked in that church, yeah, it's a bad spirit on him. That ain't got nothing to do with it. And all the examples we listed and many more, that's not what true disobedience is. Now, disobedience can lead to, it can show itself through decision making, but again, disobedience is in the mind. The disobedience of our people that be destroyed and don't receive salvation is because of what's taking place mentally. And because the Lord requires you to have a certain mindset when coming back to Him. Yeah.
All right, this first precept is coming from the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 6. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay on Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
And we know that chief cornerstone is Yahweh Shah.
Reading on. Unto you, therefore, which believe in him, believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner.
But Yahweh Shah is made the head of the church. But you say that now the Lord is speaking those, you know, who would be disobedient versus those who would be obedient.
Reading on. And a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
See that? It says, those who stumble at the word. Well, they would be disobedient. It says, whereunto they were appointed. So, just to make the point early on, those of our people that's being disobedient here in the last days, they were appointed to that. Meaning, you know, they was predestined to be disobedient in this time in the last days. That's the lot that was appointed to them. And because prophecy is the Lord's movement. Hey, somebody got to be the obedient and somebody got to be disobedient in the last days. Those of our people, again, who's still disobedient, they were appointed to that rope. I ain't gonna lie, that used to be me. Get the hell out of my way. Hey, but now you might get shot.
Right.
But anyways, those who are disobedient in the last days, that's the lot that was appointed to them. They were made to be disobedient here at the end. Well, let me see. I'm gonna do something real quick.
Okay.
So, you know, our people, you know, still being disobedient, rebellious, not coming into this, you know, that's what was supposed to happen. All right, there we go. My bad, what's the next precept?
You want to get that definition?
Yeah, let me grab that real quick.
Isaiah 55 and 7.
Okay, but again, verse 8, it says those who be disobedient. Again, we about to show now that it's a mindset.
All right.
Matter of fact, let me get this word disobedient.
Okay.
That's all it's supposed to Absolutely.
You looking at the blue letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you got something too?
Yeah, I'll go after you.
Okay, bet.
You ain't got there yet?
I'm there now.
Okay.
So disobedient, we gonna show that as a mindset. It's not limited to action. Doing something undesirable by the standards of this world. It says not to allow oneself to be persuaded. See, that's something in the mind. So if you're not persuaded by this truth, you're being disobedient. Even if you know you were Israelite. Even if you know the Most High and His only begotten Son, so-called dark-skinned men. Even if you understand that, but you're not fully persuaded by the truth, that's you being disobedient. It says to refuse belief. So when you refuse to believe the truth, that's disobedience.
I got a definition just from Google. It says disobedient, refusing to obey rules or someone in authority.
Yeah, and what's the rule and what's the one in authority? Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. And this Bible is a big rule book. It's supposed to, it rules over your physical life, but where people, they come short, they don't let the word rule over their mind.
Right.
And, people will say, well, I believe this. This is my truth. Or this is what it means to me.
But this how I feel.
Yeah, that's disobedience.
Yeah, and then how they also say everybody got their own interpretation of the Bible.
That's false.
That's false.
It's good to tell you that there's no private interpretation.
Exactly.
And then Genesis tell you that interpretation belongs to the Most High. And also back in the Greek, in the blue letter, it says not to comply with. So our people, they not compliant with the Lord. Let me look up this word comply. We know what it means, but it says act in accordance with a command to meet a specified standard. Hey, so the scriptures is a standard. You don't level up or measure up to that standard in the mind, that's disobedience. So again, these words, not to allow oneself to be persuaded, to refuse belief and obedience. So if you think that some way that Edomites can make it into heaven, that's disobedience, man.
Right.
Hey,
That's crazy disobedience.
yeah, you were Israelite, but you don't know the Lord's name. You still call to know Jesus, still going to church, but you know be the Israelites. That's disobedience. Because how did you learn you was an Israelite? It wasn't in the church, but you still go there. That's disobedience.
Wednesday Bible study.
Sunday school in the mornings,
Right.
afternoon service. But yeah, so being disobedient again, it ain't you not tucking your shirt in. It ain't you at the bar at 2:30 in the morning. It ain't that you had too much to drink the night before. It ain't you didn't put no money in the church.
Yeah.
No, this is in the mind. And based on you being persuaded, fully persuaded, or not persuaded by what the scriptures say. So now we're going to continue on to the next point.
All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, and starting at verse 7. And it reads, "Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts."
Hey, see that? It said, let the wicked forsake his way. A Christian to hear that and think that it means a forsake wicked actions. But no, it's talking about a mindset that you're supposed to forsake. Because right after that, it says that the wicked man forsake his thoughts. So forget what you think is right. Forget what's true to you.
All right, starting over. "Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts."
Because your thoughts can make you unrighteous. No matter how cleaned up you are in the flesh and in how you move and what you do day to day.
Getting baptized in the church.
Man.
I got baptized so many times, bro.
Nothing never changed.
That never changed.
It seemed like I got baptized, and then, I had that Christian hype for a minute. It seemed like really, when you do something that look good to the world, you get worse off.
I remember one time I got baptized. Man, I got baptized one time because the woman I was dealing with at the time found out I was cheating. So I went and got baptized while we was in church thinking thinking it was gonna give me some slack.
Oh, yeah.
Hey man, I was playing with Jesus back then.
Oh, yeah. You got away too.
Right.
Because you can play with Jesus and get away with it.
Look, baptized, feeling that Christianity
Got
power.
that cheesy ass mind.
Yeah, until you get back to work, it's gone.
Oh, yeah.
When you get back to work, all that gone, man. All right, we'll get started over again. Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 7. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord.
See, returning to the Lord, this not you getting baptized. This ain't you walking up into the front of the church. Everybody clap for you. In the pastor praying for you. Like, yeah.
Have
this
the arms open.
Yeah. No, this ain't got nothing to do or not limited to physical action.
Right.
No, returning back to the Lord, that's the mindset. And you returning back to the Lord, meaning you fully persuaded by the truth. That your mind is being ruled over by the word, obedient to the word in your thoughts.
And he will have mercy upon him, and to our power Yahweh, for he will abundantly pardon.
So the Lord gonna have mercy on those who return. And again, this not you walking to the church or saying something with your lips. No, this is a mindset.
Yes.
Meaning, you know, what you believe and how you believe is based off what the scriptures say.
Right.
And that's the 100% truth.
Right.
Not, you know, leave what the scriptures say, but you stumble at the name.
Right.
Or you got the name, but you stumble at the scriptures.
Yeah, when you come into that mindset, you put off all those lies you've been taught. You know what I'm saying? When your mindset is on point, you start moving different. You know? Of course, you know, you believe different, but when your mind is intact, how it's supposed to, being obedient, following Yahweh Shem Yahushai, everything changes.
Your desires change too.
Yeah. And that's when people start in the world that you knew, they start to say, he different. Yeah, I'm supposed to be different. I got a whole new mindset.
Yeah, because in the Christian world, you desire for everybody to be saved and live in peace. Really, truly turning back to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that's not a desire no more.
Right, and if your mindset changes, ain't you supposed to change?
Right.
You come into this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and you ain't changed it. Hey, you playing with fire.
And yeah, you doing something day to day, physical actions. That's not true change.
Yeah.
That's nothing they changed up here. So again, the Lord requires a certain mindset. You know, it's not limited to what you do in the flesh. You got brothers in the truth with the true name, full of the knowledge, but they getting pegged to death. And that's not gonna never go away, man.
Right. I hear it every day. Okay, get back to it.
All right.
All right. Reading on, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, says the Lord.
See, the Lord said your thoughts not my thoughts. You know. So again, the Lord requires a certain mindset.
Yes, sir.
You know, people will say, it's okay to feel how you feel or to think how you think. It's not going to hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the world that's true, but not dealing with the Most High. Hey, your thoughts, how you feel, can and will get you killed if it doesn't measure up to the scriptures. Because people will say, your thoughts is all in your head.
You all in your head.
It's not going to affect nobody else. No, it will affect somebody else. It's going to affect you first. And well, if you a teacher or just anybody with any kind of influence, even to influence your wife and children, you could possibly get them killed too.
Affect your whole household.
Yup. Hey, so your thoughts, your way of thinking, believing, hey, if it doesn't measure up to the scriptures, hey, it's heavy consequences that could be with it. And the lake of fire gonna be jumping, hey, full of people that don't have a certain mindset required by Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
And that can get you killed.
It's not gonna just be the lake of fire full of murderers, robbers, and drug dealers. No, it'll be people who wasn't so bad in the flesh or what they did the other day, but their mindset was off.
Mindset never changed.
When the Lord said, your ways are not my ways, that's not limited to physical action either, but your way of thinking, your way of believing. Like the brother say, that's what's supposed to change more than anything.
Change the mind, then you change the will.
Yep.
Right? Reading on verse 9. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts.
So yeah, what goes on in the earth and is accepted in the earth ain't accepted up there. And I guess that's why when I say up there, meaning it's not accepted by the Lord.
Right.
Rather it's up there or down here. Anything that don't meet the standard, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, we talk about mindsets. The Lord about to do away with it. White Jesus, the name Yahweh, Yeshua. That's not accepted. The Lord about to do away with it. The lake of fire gonna be full of Israelites who know that they Israelites.
Yeah.
Believers to a certain degree. Lake of fire gonna be full of them. So again, that's the disobedience. The Lord said, hey, forsake your way, forsake your thoughts not my thoughts. That's the Lord calling you to be obedient to what the scriptures say.
Right. A red light should go off in your head.
Yep. And our people will read this scripture, we break it down every which way possible, and they're going to continue in that disobedience. But what 1 Peter 2, when they say, disobedient whereunto they were appointed.
I got it right here. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 8. And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
All right, see that? So the reason they would be disobedient here at the end, because when you go up, what the brother just read, it says to them which stumble at the word. So again, that lets you know that's your obedience and disobedience is based upon how you handle the word. Now, we're going to get this word stumble, we're going to look at it in the Greek. Because that's the reason why people are disobedient today. It's because they stumble at the word. Now, when we get this word stumble, it says to strike against. It says to strike one's foot against a stone. This is all metaphorically speaking. Now, this is the point I want to get right here. It says, of those who strike against a stone or another obstacle in the path. So those who stumble at the word, they have an obstacle that's blocking their path. There's an obstacle, something in the scriptures, something in the report that's blocking their understanding. So they get no further in their understanding. Therefore, they can't be fully persuaded. Because they stumble at something in the scriptures, the result is them being disobedient. Like, for example, everybody can receive salvation. Salvation ain't for all nations. That's a stumbling block and an obstacle to a lot of our people. And Christians and Americans will say, I just can't get past this, or I just can't get past that.
Just
that's
can't
that
wrap my head around.
Yeah, that's that stumbling block. Oh, can't wrap my head around it.
Yep.
Meaning mentally, they can't get around this particular subject matter.
Yep.
And so what? The result is them being disobedient. Not what they do day to day, but their belief. They mindset can't get right. That's that stumbling block. What would it say? Well, yeah. Something in the report, it blocks the path. It blocks them from moving forward with their understanding so they can come into the true understanding to be fully persuaded. Yeah. But see, those who stumble at the word, they were appointed to that. The Lord made their mindset to stumble at the word here at the end, so they can continue in their disobedience, so that he can destroy you. Even somebody that fully understand the truth, hey, it makes sense, but they putting off day to day. You putting this on the back burner constantly. Hey, that's a mindset.
Yeah, that's a poor mindset to have, thinking that you can do that. That's a very poor mindset to have, like, because you know you don't say it out loud, like, you ain't gonna just be saying if you saying you don't want to go out to the highways or you don't want to do something. You really say it in your mind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. I got time. You know, you really saying that in your head. That's a poor mindset.
But yeah, man, and for you to say that, oh, you got time, hey, that means something blocked you from understanding that, you know, you don't got time.
Right.
We see the signs taking place. Hey, Shalom to daughter Yahweh. Hey, Shalom to the Balak Sagalah. And he said, bring it out, and let's get this. This is 2 Ezra 6:27 through 28. For evil should be put out. Hey, and that evil is not limited to the acts of doing evil. No, this is not talking about murdering, robbing, thieving, burglaring. No, that evil, hey, it's really dealing with an evil mindset. A mindset that doesn't measure up to the scriptures. And the rest of it proves it. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. See, deceit, that's dealing with a mindset. You know, lies, deception, and the mindsets of the people who would be affected off the lies in a deception. And really too, when people stumble at the word, they got some kind of obstacle, and that's blocking them from coming to the full understanding of the truth, that they may be fully persuaded. Well, they fill in that gap. They fill in the gaps of their understanding with the lies and the deception.
Or whatever soothes them.
Yep, whatever soothes them. You know, because even in the world, if it's an obstacle in a way, you're gonna take a path that's easiest for you.
Right.
And that's what people do with the scriptures. Hey, they fill in the blanks with whatever makes them happy.
As Esau.
Yeah. Everything a game to Esau,
yeah,
man.
Thumbs up, huh?
Yeah. And evil should be put out and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, and what? The truth. But not only the truth, but the understanding and the mindset that the Lord requires. That's true faith. Faith, it shall flourish, and it's flourishing amongst the elect. That's why you see new brothers popping up, every day teaching, new believers on the comment board. And he says corruption shall be overcome. So the lies, the misinformation, the deception, but also corrupted mindsets. Hey, knowing you an Israelite and calling on Jesus and Yeshua, that's a corrupt mindset.
Right.
It says corruption shall be overcome, but the truth, which has been so long without fruit, it shall be declared. So the truth and the proper understanding and the proper mindset that measures up to the standard of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, that's taking fruit here in the earth.
It's a definition of...
Appointed. Okay, now we go, you still got the precept nearby?
I got it.
If you could read it again, then we'll get our definitions.
First Peter?
Yeah, 2 and 8.
This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 8. And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word.
Now we know what that means. There's a mental, even in the word, you got something called writer's block.
Writer's block.
You can't write no more.
Yep.
Well, with the scriptures, you got reader's block.
Yep.
You reading, but you just can't make sense of it. Yep. Even when it's broken down to you, you just can't get around it. You got reader's block.
Yep. Even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
Them that stumble at the word, the result is them being disobedient in the mind. It says unto where they were appointed. So now we're gonna look up this word appointed, which you already said that it means to be predestinated or ordained to be a certain way. And the Lord appointed 2/3 of our people to stumble at the word, to continue in that disobedience, so they be destroyed. Now we got a couple definitions on this word appointed. So I'm gonna get a couple. It says to set, to put in place. So those who be disobedient because they stumble at the word, the Lord made them that way. Now
I got, it says God's orders, appoints, or institutes, or invests.
okay, see? And then also, I got this. It says to set, to fix, to establish. It says to ordain. Now, I want to look up this word ordain. So this word ordain, it says to confer holy orders. Now, definition 2 for ordain, which goes back to the word appointed, it says to predetermine, to predestine. So people with a disobedient mindset, because they stumble at the word, the Lord predestined them to think that way mentally.
Yeah.
To predestine. They was predestined to be disobedient, to stumble at the word here in 2025.
Right. Still can't get it.
Yep. It says to preordain, to foreordain. So the Lord ordered the vast majority of our people to be disobedient in the mind when it comes to the scriptures, meaning they can be fully persuaded, or they refuse to accept the true understanding.
Right.
It also says to destine. If you know that word destined goes to destiny. Hey, so the people who stumble at the word and they disobedient in 2025, this is their destiny.
It was destined to happen.
Yup. Why? Because their destiny is to be destroyed. Now, it also says fate. So their fate was to be destroyed here in the last days. And the Lord gonna make sure they meet that fate by giving them a disobedient mindset. They can't be fully persuaded by the 100% truth, or they refuse to accept the 100% truth. It also says to determine, to designate. So the Lord predetermined, destined you, ordained you to think the way you do if you can't fully come into this truth.
Yep.
That's why it says disobedient whereunto they were appointed. So they was made to be this way here in the last days. Hey, but the same is true for the believers. The Lord predestined us, ordained us to be fully persuaded by the truth here in the last days. So what? The way people were made is really showing itself here in the last days.
Showing their true colors. It was always in them.
That truck looked like it smelled like Black & Miles,
Man.
McDonald's, and CarMax.
Right, and bad attitudes. Right. Next precept is coming from the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 1, and verse 14. And it reads,
And we showing, hey, that now we about to show that those who are disobedient to the scriptures here in the last days, those who are disobedient, we about to show they were made that way. It's beyond them at this point.
look.
God, through, bro.
And they all probably got 3 kids apiece.
Oh yeah, man. Through, man. That whole truck need to go in the fast.
The window busted out from probably getting into it with the dude you messing with, she messing with, other baby daddy.
Yeah, somebody baby mama.
You see, bro, you can tell they would have had, man, they would have cussed us out if you said something to them, man.
Oh yeah, for damn
They
sure.
look like they had some bad attitudes, man. Bunny tone.
Yeah.
Seen all them bags of McDonald's.
Yeah, man. And the dude that was doing all the bro, the pastor didn't see they need none.
Yeah, for real. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 1 and verse 15.
My bad, 14.
My bad, Salak, my bad. 14. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb.
See, it was created in the faithful in the womb.
Right.
So what? The true believers here in the last days, those who will be obedient to the word.
Yep.
Meaning what? They'd be fully persuaded of the 100% truth. They would accept the truth. You accepting the truth is you accepting Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. That's how you accept the Lord that's in your heart. The heart ain't your chest, your funny feeling that compels you to say, I love Jesus. No, that's accepting the Lord in your mind by accepting his word.
Right. And that's why when they be like, man, that's my favorite song. I think I brought that out before. That's my favorite song, man. I know it by heart. You know what I'm saying? You know it in your mind.
Yeah. Because, you know, if you didn't like the song, you would know.
You wouldn't know it by heart.
But yeah, the faithful, they were made that way in the womb.
Yep.
But, hold on. Yeah, but we're going to get to a point with this. We went from talking about the disobedient, now we're talking about the obedient. Well, we're going to U-turn and take it back to the disobedient. But the faithful, those who are obedient in the last days, they were made that way in the womb. Yep. The Lord created that spirit, created that mindset to accept the truth here in the last days.
This is Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
See, the Lord said, before I formed you in the belly, I knew thee.
Right.
Now, Christians really got no understanding of that. Pretty much the Lord knows your spirit. Right. Meaning what? He knows your spirit, how he made you. Rather you will be disobedient or obedient in the last days. And then it goes on to say, before thou came out the womb, he sanctified thee, he ordained thee. And we went into that word ordained. To destinate or to be predestined, your fate, your destiny. It says I ordained thee to be a prophet. So the men of the Lord, the prophets who's back today, the Lord ordained them or predestined them to be the prophets. Yep. But guess what? The true believers, they were predestined or ordained to be believers here in the last days.
Ordained to have a certain mindset in these last days.
And that will be because the Lord created that mindset, a faithful mindset. They were made that way.
Yep.
Hey, Shalom.
It's a call.
Yeah.
Okay, grab the next precept?
Yeah, let's grab that.
All right. Next precept is coming from the book of John, chapter 4, verse 23, and it reads, But the hour cometh, and now is when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him.
See, in the last days, the true worshipers will be on the scene, serving Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah in spirit and in truth.
That good wine.
Yep, and what it say? The Lord seeketh for such to worship him. So the Lord, so you worshiping the Lord in spirit and in truth. That's
the Father seeketh such to worship him.
So the Lord requires a certain standard for you to be his servants.
Right.
And that's in the mind. Because it said his spirit lets you know it got nothing to do with the flesh at this point.
Yep.
Or it's not limited to the flesh. But it says in a truth. A truth that deals with information. That's your mindset.
That's like when a son is doing something exactly the father told him how to do it, and when he look up and see him doing it, the father say, "That's my boy.
Yep.
That's my boy." You know, and that's what the Lord created the elect from the womb.
Yep.
You know, to walk in a certain manner, have a certain mind frame. You know, to stand a certain kind of way.
Yeah, and the true worshipers, again, they will be showing themselves in the last days. Yep. The Lord has a certain standard for you to be, called his worshipers, his servants, to be the elect. And again, that's a mental standard. It's more so the focus of it.
Yep.
But now we're going to reverse it. So just as the true worshipers will be showing themselves in the last days, which is right now, well, the fake worshipers, they will be showing themselves in the last days too.
Right.
And we know who the fake worshipers are based on how they handle the word, whether they fully persuaded or not. See, you want to know who a true worshiper was until first the truth come out. And then the truth being the standard, and now we can see who's a true worshiper or who's a fake believer.
Yep.
The truth had to first come out. That's the measuring stick.
Fake. We were always fake believers at one point.
Yep.
We was going, living a certain kind of way, believing a certain kind of way, without even reading. Just somebody told us this is the way we had to do it. You know, but now we got this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We doing it according to how the scriptures say.
Oh yeah, you had made a point earlier, you know, about the lies. I want to make a point. You know, lies are rooted in tradition.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people say like the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. You're gonna make it. The devil is a liar. You're gonna break through. No, lies are rooted in tradition. People pray to the name Jesus and Jehovah based on tradition, and the culture now is Yahweh and Yeshua. The reason you celebrate Christian and what the hell they call it, Christmas and Easter, that's because of tradition. Hey, so lies are passed down and it becomes tradition. And
Easter.
Yeah, that's tradition. So that's where the lies are at.
It's like y'all bunny laying Easter eggs.
Yeah,
that's a whole lie that was just passed down and we just ate it.
Yeah, you know, a lie ain't just something. It ain't just
appeared out of thin air.
Yeah.
Somebody kept telling it.
Yeah,
kept telling it.
No, and lies are passed down.
Yeah,
them the lies you got to come out from.
Everybody can be saved.
What your grandma said.
Jesus Christ was a lie that was passed down.
Yeah,
you know.
And with that, Jesus Christ, it was a mindset that was passed down too. Yeah, and those would be the fake believers today. Now that the truth is on the scene, they can't be fully persuaded by it or coming to the full understanding of the truth. So they're shown to be fake believers or disobedient here in the last days.
I said, my daughter be cracking me up. We was watching Netflix, just moving through the movies, and my daughter said, "Is that how Jesus looked?" I said, "No, that ain't how he look." And then she said, "Well, why they got him looking like a white person?"
See?
And then my wife was gonna say something, and I said, "That's because," and then my wife just blurted in and said, "That's because they lied. They lied and changed." No, she didn't say they lied. She said they changed all that for you to believe that. My daughter said, "They be lying. They be lying." I said, "There you go. They be lying."
Hey, see, you got people that's being born in the truth. You got people being born in the truth here in the last days. That's beautiful.
Yeah. The elect has to be born too.
Yep. But yeah, man, just as the hour come when the true worshipers will show themselves in the earth, well, with that, the fake believers, the disobedient, they will show themselves in the earth too.
Yep.
And they will show themselves based off how they handle and how they respond to the word. Now we're gonna reverse it. We're gonna show that the disobedient, the fake believers that show themselves in the last days, they was made that way in the womb too. They were ordained to be that way too, just as believers.
Before we go on, to the brothers on the comment board, shalom to the brother Abaya Israel.
Shalom.
And the brother Humility First. Shalom. Yahbashim Yahbashah Barakatah.
Yahbashim Yahbashah Barakatah.
Right, jumping back to it. We're going to jump back to Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 14. It says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb."
So again, the faithful, the obedient of our people, they never made that way in the womb. That's why the Lord said, "Before I formed thee, I knew thee." He knew he made certain people prophets. He knew he made certain people believers.
Yep.
But guess what? The unfaithful, they was created in the womb too. The disobedient, the non-believers of our people, that can't be fully persuaded by the truth. They were made that way in the womb too. The Lord gave them a certain mindset that wouldn't resonate with the truth here in the last days.
Yep.
And that's showing itself.
Jeremiah 1 and 5.
Yeah, yes, right there.
Right. Next precept is coming from Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5, and it reads, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations."
So the Lord knew his believers before they came into the earth. He ordained them, sanctified them to be a prophet, to be a believer here in the last days. Guess what? The non-believers, the false prophets, they was also sanctified too. The Lord ordained them too to be non-believers, the false prophets here in the last days. So a false prophet, a non-believer, that wasn't by mistake. The Lord ordained it, meaning he predestined them before time to be non-believers and false prophets, fake worshipers here in the last days.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing about it.
That's scary.
So if the Lord predestined you to be that way,
Shalom, brother.
hey, Shalom. Hey, how about you? Hey, babe.
Shalom.
Hey, that's beautiful. We talking about the true worshipers that'll show themselves in the last days. Hey, and the brother came up. Hey, how about Shemel Shabarakadah? True names and all of that. True worshipers showing themselves. And just how that brother came up, hey, I predict that a non-believer gonna come up next to show that's the balance of the Lord.
Yeah, if they don't come up, a non-believer is watching us right now.
Oh yeah.
I hear, on here.
Hey, that's crazy,
That
man.
was beautiful.
That's
Beautiful.
that's crazy, man.
You know, usually we basically see it and see the same people. I ain't seen that, brother.
I have to make sure you go back to a car.
Right, instead of just disappearing.
Hey, but really, angels can make you see anything.
Yep. That was beautiful.
Yeah, man. And really, you know, it's encouraging when we say Shalom, but it's also a warning too. On the other hand, you know, they be better continue on the path that the Lord got us on.
Right.
You know, anytime a brother tell me Shalom with the true name, I get kind of chills. I'm like, oh man, that's kind of, hey, it was nice, but also kind of scary.
A reality check.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You being watched too.
And that show you, hey, the true worshipers out here. Hey, so there's no excuse for nobody. And the scary thing too, the faithful that was created in the womb and the unfaithful that was created in the womb, the Lord made a vast majority of our people unfaithful. He made the majority of our people to be non-believers in the last days. And non-believer, that don't mean you don't believe that there's a God that created heaven and the earth. It don't mean that you don't believe in the book. But it's based off your response to when the true words come out, or the true understanding that goes with the word comes out. The Lord made the majority of our people to not be believers. Hey, you can believe in the Bible all you want. If you think white people can be saved, you are a non-believer. You can know you an Israelite, believe in the Bible. You still praying to Jesus and Yeshua, you are a non-believer.
Many are called, few are chosen.
Yep, there's no gray area. It's this or that.
All right, next precept, circling back, the book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 8. Ready?
Yeah. We gonna
skip over that?
No, get that, then I'm gonna read it in the NLT too.
I think I got it in here.
Let's do both.
Okay, perfect. All right, 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 8. This is in the KJV. "And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed."
So stumble at the word, meaning they have a block that's blocking them to being fully persuaded by the truth. Therefore, they're going to be disobedient, and this is in the mind, meaning they can't accept the full 100% truth. And it says whereunto they were appointed. So they were predestined. That's their fate, their destiny, to be disobedient, non-believers, or fake worshipers here at the end.
The hell is that on his neck?
Through, bro.
Through.
But we're going to read this in the NLT. We're going to read this in the NLT. Bro down there got a titty on his neck, bro. Back of his neck.
Esau, through.
You gotta upload that later. In the NLT it reads, he is the stone that makes people stumble. And really that stumbling block is Yahweh Shah. It says, the rock that makes them fall. They stumble because they do not obey God's word. It should really be reversed. It should really say they don't obey God's word because they stumble. It says, and so they meet the fate that was planned for them. So yeah, they stumble at the word, meaning they can't be fully persuaded by the truth because the Lord is, because they need to beat the fate that was planned for them.
Yep.
They
meant for them to get it.
Yeah. They got to meet their fate. They got to fulfill their destiny.
Yep.
And your destiny as an Israelite in the last days is either to be saved or to be destroyed.
Right.
And the majority of our people, their destiny or their fate is to be destroyed.
There ain't no in between.
No, and go on, you know, take it to the next level. You don't really have a choice. Because you got the Lord know the faithful and the unfaithful, because they was created in the womb. The Lord knows before you were born, whether you a believer or a non-believer, because he made you that way. So here at the end, the true worshipers and the fake worshipers showing themselves, we coming into our destiny. We about to meet our fate. And
everybody
Lord willing,
standing in their lot.
Yep, everybody standing in their lot.
Yep.
And really, you know, you're going to be judged in this lifetime, but you're not being judged based off this lifetime.
Yep.
You're really being judged for way back then.
Right.
This is really a rerun. Like a TV show then they come out with a rerun with new people, but it's the same characters.
Yeah, remake.
We new people with the same non-believers or same believers.
Yep.
To see how and what we're gonna see is the ending, but it's really not a new ending.
And speaking of a mindset, I remember when I first came into this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, when my people started thinking I was crazy, I used to get mad because they couldn't understand it.
Oh yeah.
But you know, now, you know, you got that mindset like everybody wasn't meant to get this.
We got that to stay destiny.
Yep.
And see, and as we grow, you know, we even in the world, we see somebody's on the path, we see their mind is made up, hey, we don't want to disturb them.
Yeah.
That's the case here. If we see you just can't get it, you're just gonna be stuck in your disobedience, hey, you on the path to meet your fate, hey, we don't want to disturb you.
Or when they be successful, like I got a family member who just couldn't get it, and you know, and I can care less, but you know, they keep on just getting more and more, adding to their life, and you know, and they kind of look at me like, well, you ain't caught up with me yet, so how can you be right?
What can we tell them?
So, you know, 3-4 cars, 3-4 brand new fleet of cars, nice house, you know, a business.
They think the Lord working for them.
Yeah. They associate God gain with godliness.
Oh yeah, there we go. Hey, success ain't righteousness.
Right.
And really, the Lord blinded you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Lord blinded you.
You know, the scripture says that many are the affliction of the righteous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you ain't gonna. I'm not saying that you can't be a part of the elect and have an abundance. You know, but we going through things. Hell, we dealing with we in hell. We catching hell.
Yep.
You know, and I don't wish to be out of it or nothing. It is what it is. You know, we the one went off.
Yep. And the Lord said, "Woe to you that are rich." That scripture don't come to mind. Are you successful people?
Right. Business owners, agency owners.
Yeah, you know, they money work for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we showed the point that, you know, the Lord got everybody on their path to meet their fate, destruction or salvation, and that's based upon your obedience or disobedience to the word, and that's determined rather you stumble at the word or not. But yeah,
It's a lot.
that was all good. I got 2 of them mugs now.
Oh, you do?
My girl used to have, she had one. This mug just sitting in the junk drawer. I'm like, no, I'm taking that. So we got 2 now, that one, and I got the one you gave me.
Okay. Come. The water. It's a lot.
Now, before we close out, we gonna show the point that, you know, the people who stumble at the word, they got an obstacle blocking them coming to the full understanding to be fully persuaded. Who placed that stumbling block?
Yeah.
Who blocked them from coming to the full understanding? It was the Most High. You know, because you can't blame it on the devil. You know, the Most High did that.
The devil made me do it.
Oh yes, you know, I could see it in the spirit world. The Lord tell them, hey, you should have came into the truth. Somebody try to blame it on the devil.
Right.
No. You know, on the earth it plays out by the devil deceiving you in the mind to believe that a certain thing is right. But really, you know, that's the devil playing on your desires. Right. See, the Satan takes your heart's desires and amplifies them. You know, to look like that it's the right way.
Put a little sugar on top of shit.
That's what it is. That's why the scriptures say the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked.
You know.
Yeah. Hey, we went into this last week. Hey, but we gonna go into it again.
First Corinthians, right?
Second. That's all good. Because the Lord, you know, blocking you from coming to the full understanding, the Lord really hiding the gospel from you. The path to salvation, that's the Lord hiding that from you. If you stumble at the word, meaning there's a mental block that's blocking you into coming to the full understanding.
Yep.
The Lord is blocking you from your salvation.
All right, this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 4. In the womb, the God of this world had blinded the minds of them which believe not.
See that? Oh, my bad. Verse 3. I said something 4 verse. My bad.
All right. Verse 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, starting at verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost.
So what? Those who stumble at the word. That's how the Lord hid the gospel from you. So what? You continue in your disobedience. Now you can't receive the promises of the gospel. But the Lord hid the path of righteousness from you to destroy you.
Yep.
Now, when it says our gospel be hid, it's hid to them that are lost. You know, we say our people lost.
Right.
They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Hey, but this word lost, when you look at it, it really got a menacing meaning. Now, when we go into this word lost, in the Greek, we're going to look in the Blue Letter Bible. Lost, it says to perish, to be lost, ruined, or to be destroyed. But when you go up a couple definitions, the word lost, it says to declare that one must be put to death. So back to the precept, that for our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. If the gospel is hid, it's hid to them that must be destroyed. So what? The Lord is going to place a stumbling block in the scriptures for you to stumble at, that you can't come into truth. Because that was the lie appointed to you. Because your destiny is to be destroyed. So the Lord is going to put a block on your spirit that you can't be fully persuaded, that you can't accept 100% truth. That shows by your take on the gospel, somehow you think white people are going to be saved. You stuck on the name Jesus and Yeshua. You stuck in Sunday church.
Stuck that the white man can't be saved.
Yep, and many more.
Yep.
Many more. So yeah, you know, and you showing yourself to be a true, you showing yourself to be a non-believer, a fake worshiper in the last days, that declares you must be destroyed. That's my song, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Motorcycle.
That booty talk.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, man. But yeah, man. So what we see is our people. They holding on to some piece of the world, meaning some kind of mindset that comes from the world. It's declaring that they must be destroyed. The Lord is speaking loud and clear based off your response and how you handle the word. Whether you're persuaded or not. Whether you're going to be disobedient, obedient or disobedient. That's the Lord speaking loud and clear.
Yep.
So when we see somebody stuck on the name Jesus, to us, that's Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai saying to us, hey, this is one who must be destroyed. And the thing is, hey, we getting dangerously close to not be fully persuaded by the truth right now. Getting, it's gonna be the elect who are not true believers right now, and they're gonna be part of the elect, but we getting dangerously close.
Yes, sir.
That's the point.
Ain't no telling what, by the time we get done with this lesson, ain't no telling what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah, man. Hey, that lake of fire is dangerously close.
Yes, sir.
Thing is, you ain't gotta die to get there, like the Christian church told you.
Yep.
Now the Lord gonna burn people alive.
Believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
All right. Reading on, 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 4. In whom the God of the... You want me to read 4, right? Just did 4 and 3.
I had put that wrong, but let's get 4 anyway.
Okay. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 4. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not.
See, you a believer or not is based off a mindset. It ain't you not tucking your shirt in, not putting money in the church.
Right. Lest the light of the glorious gospel of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who is the image of Yahweh thy power, should shine unto them.
See, so if a gospel be hid, it's hid to them whom the Lord wants to destroy.
Right.
So the Lord will blind them by the God of this world.
Right.
What Job 9:24 say? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Yeah.
So while the wicked is ruling on the earth, he's going to be the God of the earth. He's going to dictate what happens here in the earth. Not only physically, but also mindsets. You know, Esau put people in and out of recessions. He raised and lowered the taxes. Hey, wars and stuff happened because of him. But guess what? The mindsets of our people, that happened because of the God of this world. It happened because of Esau, the white man.
If you don't believe and you just don't think this is true, that's because your mind been blinded. You the one got the problem.
Yep, you've been influenced by Esau.
Yep.
So Esau got rule over the minds of our people. That's why you still celebrate Christmas. That's why you think the son of the Most High is white.
Right.
That's the influence of Esau influence go far deeper than you can imagine. Even the heavy metals and the microplastics in our bodies, that's based off of Esau's influence. Hey, these bodies gotta burn.
Yep. That's why I feel so good to see these devils getting put to shame, because that we've been walking all day, huh?
Oh yeah.
That's why I like it. That's why I feel so good to see these devils getting put to shame, because you know they got all kinds of they got their media, you know, they got the money, they in control. You know, only Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai can bring these devils down. So the things that's happening, the things that's coming to pass, it gives us joy, because you know we know that this is Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai doing this. You know, we can't say nothing, we can't do nothing to make Babylon be confounded. You know, I mean, we got this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, but it's all for a point of time. And this when we in that time, right? Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai got these nations standing up against Babylon the Great.
Man.
You know, in the early 90s, 2000. be going on. But guess what? These people who here in Babylon, they still running off that pride. You know what I'm saying? Of thinking that this place, you know what I'm saying, is gonna go on forever, gonna last forever. And ultimately, that's because they wanted to.
Our pride is a mindset.
Yeah.
Pride ain't just you being stuck up, you know. Now you got a snotty attitude. Pride is a mindset, thinking this place is gonna go on.
Yeah. And they wanted to.
They do.
They want that 5-10-year plan. You know, they want to send their kids who in the 3rd grade off to the same college that they went to.
Hell no.
Right.
Bro, I'm sick of work, bro.
Right.
And see, it ain't that we lazy. Now, if we could just work and not be bothered, micromanaged, discriminated against, and we work for what our labor is worth, you know, it'll be less bad.
Yeah.
But really, we shouldn't be working anyway. Because the world was created for our sakes, because we're the sons of the Most High. But hell no.
Hell no.
Bro, hell no.
All right, get back to it. Next precept is coming from the book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 3. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts.
Scoffers, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the scoffers would be what? That would be the non-believers or the fake worshipers of the Most High. And we see it day to day based off people's response, how they handle the word. But you see, GMS South Carolina, you see it on his page every day. Another non-believer, another scoffer is showing themselves. You know, we made the point before. Why are these scoffers making a scene? Or why are they making an appearance all of a sudden? Because that's the lot that was appointed to them. That's their role in the movie. Those are the people whom the gospel was hid from, to them that are lost, which declares that they must be destroyed. So the Lord got them popping up in the movie because he about to kill them off. That's like a movie, you know, you got all these random ass characters popping up. You're like, why are these people popping up?
Right.
And then you find out, oh, the Lord had them popped up to kill them off.
Right.
Because that's really the only thing you can do with extra characters. Because they got no real purpose to the plot.
Yeah.
That's why the Lord said they was created in vain. They got no real purpose here and now.
You solidify their role of being a nobody.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's like when, just for example, the killer or the animal can be chasing the person, and right before he get them, somebody intervene and be like, "I got you." They turn around and get them.
That's what it is.
You know what I'm saying? And it'd be a nobody.
And that's what they do. They got that "I got you" moment. They read one precept.
Got you.
And say all kind of stuff. Well, the true gospel will be spoken against. Nobody's speaking against Christianity in the modern sense. No, the only gospel or the only walk of faith that's being spoken against is what the Hebrew Israelites are teaching. And no, not IUSPUK.
Right.
But the doctrine of, taught by GMS. Hey, that's the only one that's being spoken against. Hey, so this got to be the truth.
We got to be in them terms.
Because when people scoff and leave the truth, where they go? Back to Christianity.
Yeah.
That's where most of the scoffing is happening at. You don't see no Muslims scoffing.
Or they go to some off doctrine.
Yeah, right. That got Christianity principles.
Yeah.
Or mindsets. You don't see no Buddha scoffing.
Right. Okay. What is Israel United in Christ?
Oh yeah.
IUIC. They banned it with Nation of Islam now.
I saw that, bro. I seen
That's
something like
crazy.
a Hebrew Muslim.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Confusion.
Just confusion, right?
Yeah, so the gospel was here from them. So what these folks do, the pagan, the Hebrew Muslims, the scoffing, that's really a sign that you must be destroyed.
Yep. You're just an extra in the movie on this side.
Oh yeah, yep. That's why scoffing against the truth. That's why it's trendy at the moment. Because judgment is about to be trending next. The scoffers, hey, they got a big, the DVDs have the chapters. Reading the chapter of all the scoffing happening. Hey, the next chapter is judgment. That's what the Lord said. The house or judgment must first begin at the house of Israel. That's the next chapter after this. After the scoffing is the judgment.
Next precept is coming from the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, starting at verse 10. Get it in the NLT, and it reads, "He will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction, because they refuse to love and accept the truth that would save them."
So you being fully persuaded by the truth, accepting 100% truth, leads to your salvation. But those on their way to destruction, that's your fate. That's being predestined, preordained. That's your destiny. So the mindsets of our people that can't be persuaded by the truth, they're on their way to destruction. The Lord got them on that path because your way of thinking has a destination.
Verse 11. "So Yahweh thy power will cause them to be greatly deceived, and they will believe these lies."
So our people that's disobedient at the true doctrine of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, the Lord caused them to believe a lie or a strong delusion. It will be so convincing to them, they would think it to be the truth. But really, they're on the path to destruction. They can't even see where they're headed. That's that stumbling block, that obstacle. Not only does that stumbling block, that obstacle blocks you from the truth, it blocks your path that you don't even know where you're gonna end up at.
Heading for destruction. The signs say heading for destruction. They think that's the name of the street. No, the sign telling you heading for destruction.
Oh yeah.
But they being deceived. Verse 12. "Then they will be condemned for enjoying evil rather than to believe in the truth."
And that evil is not the act of evil, club and murder and partying.
Right.
No, that act of evil. Hold on. It says they will be condemned for enjoying evil. Again, that's a mindset. And evil is when your mind don't line up with the scriptures. You're not fully persuaded by the scriptures. But the perceiving the true understanding, that's the evil. So, and you might hear some people say, "Well, let me believe what I believe."
Yeah.
That's evil. The Lord said, "Forsake your thoughts."
Right.
Let the wicked man forsake his thoughts. Yeah, that's great.
Right. Next precept is coming from the book of Job, chapter 18, starting at verse 17. "His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street."
This is dealing with Esau, even the white man, the wicked.
Yep.
But we're gonna make a point at the end because Esau, he has a heritage. His heritage is destruction. 2/3 of our people, they gonna share in Esau's destiny.
They follow him.
Yep.
18. "He shall be driven from light unto darkness, and chased out of the world. He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining of his dwelling."
Because Obadiah 1:18 said there would be none remaining of the house of Esau.
"They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, as they that went before were affrighted." Is it affrighted?
Oh yeah. Friday.
Affrighted. That was it. We just get
21:2. Oh, okay, I got it right here. So this is the point right here, verse 21. This talking about the destiny of the wicked.
"Surely such are the dwelling of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not Yahweh thy power."
So the place of them who know not Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is destruction. And that's began with Esau eating the white man because he got no place with the Most High. Hebrews tell you that he was rejected from the place of repentance. But what it say? This is the place of him that know not the Most High. Well, that goes for the 2/3 of our people as well that stumble at the word and are disobedient to this day. They know not Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. So what? Their place is going to be destruction as well with Esau eating the white man.
They put their trust in him. They rely on him. They don't want nothing to happen to him. You can't wrap around their head.
They pretty much jumping in front of a bullet.
Yep.
Esau.
Yep.
What's that bullet? The nuclear missile.
Yep. You telling Israel that, you know what I'm saying, only the elect can be saved. And their first question is, what about the white people? You know, they got destruction coming. So since you put your eggs in Esau's basket, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be destroyed with them.
Yep. And this is an NLT. They will say this is the home of a wicked person, the place of one who rejects the Most High. So when you continue to be disobedient to the word, meaning you can't be fully persuaded by the truth in your mind, and that's you rejecting the Lord. So what? You're going to be rejected when it comes time for salvation.
This is the book of, this is the brother Enos. That's some demons or demons.
No, we have to just go there. That's 2 Timothy 4.
2 Timothy 4 and 10.
Yeah, I'm guessing he might have, okay, bet. That might have been some kind of, apostle back then. Some kind of believer.
It was 4 and 10?
Yeah.
All right, this is from the brother Enos. He posted 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 10, and it reads, "For Demas have forsaken me, having loved this present world, and is departed unto Thessalonica, Christian, and Galatia, Titus unto Dalmatia."
So yeah, he said Demas have forsaken, having loved the present world. Right. So our people love the world, not just the money, the cars, and the women, but they love the mindset that's developed by being of the world. They love Christianity. They love white Jesus. They love that we were all created equal. They love the mindsets. The work, get paid 2 weeks later, ball out in income tax. Hey, they love the mindsets here.
I remember when I first moved to Texas, I had went back home to Louisiana to visit, and I was having a conversation with a group of people, and this girl would just ask me like, "How you just leave like that?" And I was just simple. I made it simple. I said, think about it. What's here? Schools ain't no good, for your children. Ain't no jobs here. All the people we know dying or already dead. And after I said all that, she was just like, "I just love it. I love everything about it. I love how ratchet it is here."
See, that's ratchetness is a mindset.
Yeah. She just said, "I love it all, man. All of it. The ghetto."
That's another mindset.
Just couldn't wrap her mind around it, man. And that was in 2016, and I see her still. She look like she catching hell, boy.
Yep.
All mindset.
See, before I moved to Texas, I came out here to visit. I had no intentions of ever leaving Michigan. When I came out here, it was just so new and refreshing. I'm like, nah, I'm leaving Michigan. But that's the case with this truth. Once you exposed to the truth, hey, I'm leaving all this behind. But Christianity, 2 Thessalonians said they enjoy evil rather than accepting the truth. They enjoy that mindset of what comes with it. But see, what's gonna really come with it is destruction.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, that was the lesson. Disobedient were they appointed. Hey, so those of our people who being disobedient here in the last days, the Lord got them that way, made them that way to meet their destiny. hey, which is destruction. So, and those of us that receive salvation, that ain't by random. That's our destiny, Lord, want to be part of that, and the Lord made us that way. So, hey, let's give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Bakakudash. Double honor to the elders who taught us this truth by the Holy Spirit. Honor to the brothers, risking their life and freedom to push the gospel. Hey, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect.
Shalom.
Hey, Shalom.